All right, so we have week 1 and 2 done. Now we need to do week 3. So we're going to go back to Dreamweaver. I'm going to get out of my connection and go back to my regular settings. And I don't need to do anything with this log file, so I'm going to close it down. I do need to create a new web page for week 3. So I'm going to pop that open. And this week we're going to start exploring some CSS. So I'm going to get started simply by putting in my name. And then I need a paragraph about myself. Just going to copy and paste that, okay? Save some time. Okay, I'm sorry about the noise. Just going to paste this a few times. And hit my enter key. You see what's happening at the top? It's formatting paragraphs. At the bottom of my brief bio here, I need to put in my my copyright. And I don't know how to make a copyright symbol. So what I do is I come up here to insert, and I see that under HTML, it says on a PC, it says HTML characters. You're going to come across and select copyright. Notice that it inserts a copyright. Copyright 12, Claire Boger, all rights reserved. Okay, so we have in our textual information, but now I want to format it using CSS. And we're going to get started using CSS, which is a language or a scripting language used to format your HTML so it's a little bit more attractive. And we're going to get started using it by defining what are called classes. The best way to look at a style that is defined as a class is that it can be applied to anything you want. Let me change my document title here because this is important, all right? Otherwise, no, it will not get bookmarked correctly. Unit 3. I don't know what they said to name it. CSS styles. Okay, so the first style they say to define is your header. So I'm going to come down here to my properties panel and I'm going to click CSS. And you'll notice that I don't have any CSS defined, so it says target rule new. But I'm going to click edit rule, all right? And it brings me up to a class by default, all right? And I'm going to name this header. And I want it to go into this document only. If by putting it in this document only, these styles will not affect anything else I do going forward. Only this class, only this page. Okay, now, look what's happening over here. We just started defining a CSS style inside of the head tag, okay? That is information that the browser will use on how to display information in the page. So I'm going to change the font, and I'm going to make it Georgia, and I'm going to make it red, and I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to make it a half a point. 36 point is a half a point, all right? Now, if I want to center this, I'm going to come over here to block, and I see something called text align. If I click on that and say center, it's going to put it in the middle. Okay. Now, my cursor was just sitting on the screen, and look what it did. Well, you can also see that if I go to HTML, that paragraph is a P tag, now has a class assigned to it of header. There it is. To take it off, just click here and select none, and it'll go back to normal. I want that class to be applied to my name. I'm showing you this not only because it's a mistake that probably you'll make, but really because a class can be attached to anything, all right? So we're going to come over here and select that, and in the properties of the HTML, from the drop-down, I can select header, and there we have it. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to create a link to a resource that's good for this class. So this is a great resource for the class. Now, this is called an external link. So I'm going to come out here to Firefox, and I'm going to go to a site. Here. And I want to put this into, this is going to be a great site for you guys going forward. So I'm going to copy this by selecting it and saying edit copy. And then I'm going to go back to Dreamweaver. And I'm going to select those words. This is a great resource for the class. Now again, in my property panel, I see the word link. I'm going to put my cursor there, and I'm going to paste. See how the link is set? I hit my enter key, and now that text turned blue. Now, what we want to do now is control if somebody rolls over it or if they visit it, and we don't want it to be blue. We want to have it its own style. So I do that by clicking on this button called Page Properties. On the left-hand side, I see the word link. I'm going to click on that. Now I can click on this little box and change the link color to anything I like. So I'm going to have it be red, and then it's going to turn green when you roll over it. And then after you went to it, it'll go to a dark red. And if it's active, I'm going to keep it at the same color as this. Notice that I can pull color from other locations by using the eyedropper. Okay. Now, we can set the underline style here, and I'm going to change this to underline only when it's rolled over. And say OK. Notice that the link has changed to red because we created the style for our links. Now, I'm going to save this page. I'm going to do one more thing, all right? I have my copyright. And this copyright needs to be centered. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to go back to CSS. And I don't have a rule defined here. So I'm going to say edit the rule. And again, I'm going to make a class called copyright. It's going to go in this document only. And I'm going to say OK. I'm going to change this type here to Arial. I'm going to make it 10 point. And I am going to center it by going to my block, going text align, and center. And saying apply. And OK. And there we have it. It's centered. I'm going to save this. File, save. Now, it has to go into the right location, all right? I want to stay organized. And this is Unit 3. So I see that I have a folder here named Unit 3. If I open that up, I can now name this file CB underscore Unit 3 underscore GD241 web design .html and click save. Notice that now I have a file inside of my Unit 3 folder. That's great. So that's what I did in the third unit of this class. I need to now submit this. The easiest way to submit your file is to go to your index page and look at our link for Unit 3. Now we go to our properties for the HTML, we have the link set to a hash bar, but now we have a real page, right? So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to select that type, and I'm going to click on the little crosshair and drag pointing at the file in Unit 3 and let go. Notice that the link now says look in the Unit 3 folder for this file called CB Unit 3 Web Design. I just finished, so I'm going to save this. I'm going to close the index page down, and I'm going to close my Unit 3 down. I now have my files, but I need to submit them. Go to expanded mode, and again, right-hand side, I have my files. Left-hand side, I have a preview, but I can see I'm not connected. I don't have a green dot. Click that. What did I change, guys? I changed Unit 3. That's got to go over, and you put it at the topmost folder, your root, let go. I changed my index. Drag that over. Didn't go. When I get the plus sign, that's how you know it's working. So now if I open up Unit 3 over here, you can see there's your file. And to check your work, again, we're going to come out here, web space, student / Claire C. Boger. And here's my log file, but notice what happens now when I click on Unit 3. Here's my page, and if I roll over this, it turns green. And if I click on it, it takes me to this site. So you're going to submit, you could submit this link right here, as well as this link right here, because they're both going to take me to the correct location. All right, that'll get you up to speed, guys.